Hey guys, so we just got back from our trip to England, Ireland, and Scotland. It's been a week since we got back, and we decided to give you
an overview of what we did when we were there. We took the most indirect route that we ever could have possibly taken to get there. So our first flight was from LaGuardia to Raleigh, South Carolina? North Carolina?
some Carolina.
One of the Carolinas, and it was like Raleigh. And it was like a major airport there.
Yeah.
And before we even got on that flight, we were sitting in LaGuardia, and then suddenly like the fire alarm starts going off. And it's like so random, so loud, so out of nowhere. And we just look around and no one's getting up and no one's doing anything, so we're like, we're just gonna chill.
Yeah, but it was like, it kept going off, and we're like, we hope this isn't a bad like omen or sign of how this trip is gonna go. Not like saying with those people, like, but like.
I mean, in hindsight, it kind of almost was, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So we go to get on that flight, but wasn't that flight delayed?
Yeah, it was delayed like maybe 30 minutes, like nothing crazy, but it was delayed.
Just like 30 minutes. So then we get on, and it was like, probably like an hour.
And a half, I think hour and a half, 45 minutes to Raleigh.
And then we got there, we had a layover, and so we ate some lunch and everything. And then our next flight was from Raleigh to London Heathrow, and that flight was a hot mess.
So we had a little bit of time, because like even though our first flight was delayed, we still had enough time in between the connection to like get food, relax,
get all the paperwork in order.
everything in order, and then get onto the flight. But once we got onto the flight,
No, we boarded that flight as regular. No, we boarded that flight as regular, and everything was good until we all took our seats, and then there was like that mechanical issue with the plane.
Yeah, something was wrong.
So 2 hours later of sitting on the tarmac, sitting in our little economy seats.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't just like let us back off into the airport if you knew it was gonna be like bad amount of time that. And it's already a 7.5 hour flight.
So really we were on the plane for like almost 10 hours.
Yeah.
So then we're up in the air, we're taking off, and it's pretty smooth. We didn't get much turbulence at all.
No, it was good. Like food iffy, but good. When we were about to land, we had to circle around Heathrow because there was no available spots since we took off so delayed. A full 30, like completely like maybe 45 minutes.
Just like circling around and like because you look out the window and you're like almost there. Like I can see like that's the airport.
Yeah.
But
and like by the end of that flight, like once we landed, we were both feeling like the side effects of the time difference, how much flying we've done that day, how tired we are because we started in the morning. Now it's what time even? It was morning in Heathrow, but it was really 12 o'clock at night where we're from.
Yeah.
So.
I was like kind of sick before we went on that with like this cold, like runny nose, sore throat type of thing. It wasn't anything serious, that's why we still went. But like after the 2 flights, I was like done.
Yeah.
And done.
So because of how much our flight was delayed, taking off and then circling around Heathrow, they were coming on board and saying if you have a connecting flight, you might not make it. Some have already taken off and left, and we know that we had 3-hour connection in between
Heathrow and then to Dublin.
And so we already took up 2 hours at Raleigh Airport, and now like an extra 30 minutes. So like really we only have maybe an hour max to get to our next flight.
But what we did was super dumb. So we booked it because we wanted round tickets out of Heathrow. Why can't I talk right now?
We wanted round trip tickets out of Heathrow
because that's where we were leaving from, and it was cheaper to do it that way. But our final destination for the start was Ireland, so we had to go from Heathrow to Dublin, but we couldn't get them like connecting, so we booked them separately. So once we got off the London flight, we had to claim our bags. We had to go through customs.
And recheck into the
and
airport.
then recheck into the
go
airport.
through security, recheck our bags. Under an hour.
In 30 minutes. We literally had like 30 minutes.
We were sprinting. I've never, like, in my life, felt so sick.
Well, like, I was really nice at the airport. He let us cut the line for the security.
He did.
Because we were like, yo, our plane takes off and we don't even know where the gate is.
Yeah.
Like, still like, why are you so late? I was like, our plane got delayed. Like, it wasn't
we just
our
got
fault.
in. Yeah, and then
So
he, like,
let
gave
us
us a
go.
break.
And then we're running to our gate.
Yeah. Which is kind of
killed
far.
me even more because I was already in the gutter, not feeling Gucci.
Well, I was feeling, like, so sick. So we looked it, too.
We looked it,
like
too. It was a mess.
sick. We get to that flight to realize it's been delayed. And there's no signs up on the big boards that's been delayed. There's no anything that
So we didn't need to rush at all. And here we were sprinting through the airport for no reason. It was
making ourselves
absolutely
more
worse.
sick.
So once we got there, we sat down.
For like maybe
relaxed.
34 minutes, like 35 minutes. Before that plane like finally took off.
Started boarding.
I'm walking through, about to board onto this plane, and one of the like persons working at the airport, they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Like trying to put on like a good face because you know they won't let you board if you say you're sick or anything. And I'm like, "Wow, I must look really ill." I felt it. I felt so sick, but luckily I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
And
so we went over like Christmas time. Over Christmas break.
Yeah.
So that's when we went and
it was packed.
Yeah, there was a
packed.
lot
The prices
of people.
were over. Like everything was delayed.
That's why we
It's
tried to go the
crazy.
cheapest route with like the round trip out of Heathrow and then to Dublin, like because it was cheaper. But honestly, in
don't do
hindsight,
it.
I would not do
Don't
that
do
again.
it. You
Would not
want
do
to
that
just
again.
get a direct flight. Do not do it. It's worth the money. I swear.
So we land.
But our flight for our whatchamacallit, the flight going to Dublin was delayed an hour. So we were sitting on the tarmac again for an hour going to Dublin.
Oh, we were. I fell asleep at that point.
Yeah, me too, but I remember.
I remember. Oh, I remember the flight attendant came by and woke me up to ask me if I had my seatbelt on.
Yeah.
I was like, you can see it. Just let me sleep. Like, oh my gosh. The worst.
Yeah. But, so, Dublin was not our final destination.
Either.
So now
Unfortunately.
we're very close to our time slot of missing our train to Galloway.
Because Galloway was our final destination.
Yes, that was
It
our
was.
final destination of this whole travel day. So,
Took 3 flights
oh
and a
my
train
gosh.
ride to
So
get
we
there.
were, like, every time we got delayed, it just pushed back everything else, and, like, our time period for everything else got really short, so we'd be rushing and sprinting. So, we get off our plane
in Dublin.
We go to our bag carousel.
We're chilling. We're relaxing because we're dead tired.
Yeah, we're, like, ready to pass out, like, hit the...
Dag,
like, hit the floor. Like, we are dead at this point.
And then so we're waiting and like a lot of time has passed and no more bags come out. And we do not have our bags. And we're like, well, great. This is just what we need.
Yep.
So Caitlin goes up to the like desk or whatever because I was just like sick, tired, I was chilling, I was just watching all our carry-ons and stuff.
Yeah.
So then after we wait online, well, she waits online again. And then at this point I join her because I'm like, we need to go. Like, our train is going to leave without
So, like,
us.
we can't wait around. And she was like, well, you can wait for, like, the next flight. It might be on the next flight. I'm like, well I'm not going to wait here for a might. And we can't wait. And so I gave her, like, our address to our hotel. She was like, yeah, it should be delivered. It should be getting on the next flight. And we're like, okay, good. Because, like, we have, like, pretty much nothing.
Literally.
So we have to leave the airport because we're in a rush to catch our train to Galloway.
That night, we just pass out. And
And
we
it's
don't have
so
our clothes
nasty.
and stuff, so
So
we're sleeping in the
nasty.
stuff that we've been in 3 planes and a train ride.
So nasty. I've never felt so nasty in my life. And sick. Like, just so done. So we passed out and we slept for so long.
We did.
And the next morning, we had a tour to catch to go to the Cliffs of Moher at 11. And so we wake up early, I think like at 7 or something.
Yeah, we usually wake up pretty early though.
And I wasn't feeling well enough to go get breakfast, so Alyssa went down and got breakfast herself. I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna do, you know, since our bags have still not arrived.
Because we don't have our clothes, we don't have our shampoo, like soap.
Nothing.
And like, yes, the hotel did have like the soap and stuff, but what are we gonna do? Put on our dirty clothes again?
Yeah, and
like that's disgusting.
This hair does not
do those little travel things.
That wouldn't even do one rinse of my hair. Like, not even one. And so I called the front desk. They're like, oh, there's a little shop, like, kind of like I guess here would be like a TJ Maxx. Like, it has like pretty much everything and then like a grocery store on the side. So we had to go shopping for our outfits of the day, shoes,
socks,
everything. So, and then buy like food and snacks and toothpaste and conditioner and shampoo.
Because we had no idea when our bags were going to get there. Like, honestly, at that point, we were thinking, well, they're not going to come.
Right, because she said that it would be on the next flight, and the next flight was only 2 hours after ours.
Yeah. So...
And, like, if they weren't on the next flight or the flight after that, like, when are they going to come?
Yeah. Like, what's the priority?
Yeah, so... We end up shopping, coming back, like getting dressed, then going to like the tour group with the Cliffs of Moher. By the way, the taxis there don't take credit card unless you call ahead for them to have a credit card machine.
Yeah.
We
learned that on the hard way.
Yeah.
Because we blew through all of our euros that I had exchanged here before we left. But then
we had like $100.
We
had like at least $200 in euros.
I had like 150 euros, yeah.
So,
but we weren't expecting to have to pay so much cash for cab rides that like our money was gone.
Yeah, so we get to the Cliffs of Moher. We're driving there, you know.
Yeah, so we're on the tour bus and we booked it through like this company. There was only a few of us on the bus and it was nice. Because they just go and they drop you off and then you come back on. Because we don't like guided tours.
We're not like...
Because we like to do our own thing and sometimes we get a little bored and we're like...
So, getting there was, I think it was like an hour and a half or just an hour.
I think it was just an hour.
Yeah, maybe just an hour away. But we got there in like 45 minutes.
Good time, yeah, because our bus driver was a maniac.
Yeah.
Driving all over the road.
Yeah, for people who like almost never feel car sick.
We felt car sick.
Felt very car sick.
And like, you know, like, it's bad when you know it's bad when regular cars are like pulling off to the side of the road to let your tour bus pass them because he's riding them.
Exactly. Like, people in regular cars are pulling off the road to let us pass. We ended up not getting actually physically sick, so that was
on the hindsight.
Yeah.
The bright side.
Yeah, the bright side of things.
But
we got
the Cliffs of Moher were beautiful.
Yes, we did not realize.
Hella windy.
Yeah, and the temperature drops by the coast. So where we were, we went outside our hotel and we were like, oh yeah, it feels great. Like, wow, this weather's amazing.
It was like high 70s.
Yeah, because
in December.
Yeah, and we just came from like New York where it's like sub-zero. And we're like, wow, this weather's great. And then we go to the cliffs and we're like shivering and like
the wind and like splits of water.
Yeah, hits you. The wind is like outrageous, like snot sticking out of your nose.
My hair was all
tears,
over the place.
Hair sticking straight up.
Yeah,
beautiful, absolutely stunning. Be careful because
it's a little slippery, a little wet.
There are at some points no railing at all, so just be careful.
But it is beautiful. Like, I can see why it's a must-have destination.
Definitely. Almost blown away by the wind is literally an understatement. A puddle of water just into our faces.
We were literally running for cover, but there was none.
You couldn't even run. Like, you felt like every time you did a step, it was like pushing you back 300 yards.
It was very difficult to even walk.
Yeah.
But it was actually really fun. Like, we were laughing the whole time.
Oh, it was so
great.
funny. It was so funny. But you also have to be the type of person, like, even in a bad situation, like, be able to laugh. Like, this is funny. Like, come on.
This is life.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. So, yeah, then we get back on the thing, on the bus.
Driving like a maniac again.
We get home even faster within 30 minutes. It's supposed to be an hour drive. And I'm like, just get me off this bus. I don't want anything else to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of like hung out because I think we had something else to do, but we were just like,
we're tired. The flight's still recovering.
So we ate at the hotel. Luckily, I had a restaurant because we did not feel like going out. And still no bags. So I got a message though on the bus that they'd be coming at 4 o'clock. They did not come at 4 o'clock. Then I got another message saying they'd be at 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock rolls around.
They were not there.
And no bags. And like, it took a little, because we were eating dinner at that time, so like by the time we got back upstairs, like it was 8 o'clock, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna call up because this is ridiculous. We leave tomorrow morning. So we need our bags now. Like, I'm not going out to the store and buying another outfit.
Because we spent like $100 because we had to get
wasn't
shoes,
cheap. It was not
socks,
cheap.
Pants, everything.
Not cheap. And like, that's just extra money that we didn't have to spend.
Yeah.
Because you know us, we packed more than enough clothes. So I call up the company.
The airline.
And finally, I talked to this person. And he's like, oh yeah, they're at the airport now. And I'm like, okay.
Well, that's a great place for them to be. Can't think of a better place for them to be except
like,
say,
okay,
I will.
They are at the airport. That's a step in the right direction. Thank you. And he's like talking to me and like about like the logistics. I'm like, I already know the logistics. The woman at the desk told me that our bags didn't get on the flight because it was already overweight. Which is very concerning. You shouldn't be telling people that. Just say your bags didn't make the flight. Whatever. I don't need
that our bags couldn't go on the flight because 2 50-pound bags were going to bring down the plane because it's too heavy. That is horrifying.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't need to know that. Like, just let me know what you're doing to get my bags. I could care less about why.
How it's happening.
Just make sure you get me my bags. And he's like, yeah, I gotta talk to the people there. I'm like, do it. Do it.
And he's like, okay, so they'll be coming in like 2 hours. Which is the time it takes to drive from Dublin to Galway.
And I'm like, okay, so what if I didn't call?
Were they just gonna be sitting
Yeah,
there?
exactly. They wouldn't have gotten to us. And 2 hours and like 30 minutes later, they showed up at our hotel like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and the hotel brought them up to us because they knew that we were looking for them.
They knew we were super. It's stressful. It's stressful having to worry about that, having to worry about everything. It was already a stressful travel day on top of not having your stuff.
So after that, we were good. We were like, this is on the rise. It's gonna be good from here. Like, it's good.
Yep.
So then we
had
the
like
next day.
an early wake up call the next day. Like, I think we woke up at like 5:30 because like our train left at 6:30.
So we were getting on a train from Galway back to Dublin,
which is 2.5 hours.
So we get on the train and then we get to the airport in Dublin because we have a flight from Dublin to Edinburgh. And that's where we were going to be staying in Scotland.
Yeah.
So we check in and everything, and then we go to find our gate, and it's down like these sketchy stairs.
I mean, I've never in my life, we've traveled a lot. We've been to a lot of different airports, and I have never in my life
had to go down like 3 flights of stairs.
In a sketchy back stairwell of the hotel, like of the airport, with nobody there, no signs, no nothing. Like, I thought we were leaving the airport. Like, we would just walk out. Like, we were going to the basement exit.
But then we realized that it was because we were going to have to walk out on
it was like a separate, tarmac.
So there were like 2 gates, and it was like the bottom.
So technically we were walking out.
Yeah.